I don't know. I'll go to Facebook. Let's go to Facebook. I think my Facebook reach is much better. Um, okay. Think we're on the Facebook. I am in charge of talking for a minute because Ashley is not here to ask all of her questions because she's getting ready to go, I guess, show a house. So good morning. It's Wednesday. And some of our partners and friends down in Beaufort are on this morning. And Lauren Fawcett, who and Kourtney's on too, I see you. Have I'll let you talk about it, but you guys have a team down in Beaufort, South Carolina, and do the staging end of homes very well. And a lot of us, I know I personally actually struggle with this because I'm like, oh, it'll be fine. So I'm excited to hear what y'all have to share, and I'll let you take it away, Lauren, if you're ready to rock and roll. And
Sure.
we are on live on Facebook and also recording. So just making sure those in the room know, and take it away, and I'll be your slide deck when you're ready for it.
All right. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Lauren Fawcett. I'm with the local group here out of Beaufort, South Carolina. I am a team leader. My partner, Kourtney, is also on this Zoom as well. So I was asked to speak about staging, and this is something that I have been very passionate about, especially in this industry. I would say since about like 2000. I know this is something that like Kourtney and I discussed with our team, I feel like daily since the beginning of November. If you're not thinking about what's gonna bring your clients value in 2024, then you're just not thinking right. Think outside of the box. What is gonna make you different from every other agent out there? What's gonna set you apart in this industry? And I feel like staging is something that we've really kind of honed in on, and we've gotten really good at it. And we're not just throwing a sign in the yard like most other agents. We're doing something that's bringing value. So in 2020, that's when I decided I was going to incorporate all of this staging into a big part of my listing process. I purchased some simple inventory. I maybe spent about, I would say, $1,000. I stored it in my home office, and I started offering different staging packages on all of my listings, and it kind of just grew organically from there. Now, when I say simple inventory, I started out with like jute rugs. I would have like 3 different sizes. I would have maybe like some white pillow shams. I would have like beige, like or linen pillows for couches. I would have vases with like simple greenery or pond fronds. That's something that's like a huge low country aesthetic when it comes to decor down here in the low country. So I'd have those. I would have like white queen duvets to throw down like over beds. Like it's more about bringing some kind of neutralization to the home, not necessarily coming in and changing everything. And like I said, every home is going to be different that you walk into, because you're going to have a vacant home or you're going to have an owner occupied home. I think it's all about creating some kind of staging package, is what we call it, based off what the home needs. I would definitely find back in 2020 that I didn't really need to fully stage them myself at times, or I didn't really have to like outsource them. It could just be as simple as like me coming in and starting at the entryway and saying, okay, let's take down the rack that you have all the book bags on and this and this. And let's go ahead and get some wicker bins and let's set them here and you can place items and shoes and bags and whatever you need, like just to make the space feel clean. And then it kind of really grew organically from there. Like we also will outsource if we have to, but 90% of the time, we can come into like a vacant home and just do a little fluff and it looks great. We will even go as far as, Kourtney and I do have a storage unit now that we hold a couple of like slip covered love seats, a couple of chairs, a couple of coffee tables. Again, there's jute rugs. So we do in fact have, I would say, like 2 homes worth of inventory now that we've just accumulated over the years. But I don't want you to like just think upfront that staging is something that you're going to have to go spend a bunch of money on, because it's really not. So then I'll step into kind of a little bit of what we do now with this staging guide. So I was finding that there was definitely a need for a lot of homes that were owner occupied for us to simply just provide something that just gives you an easy step-by-step guide to like neutralize your home. I like to say, don't use the word declutter. I feel like when you use that verbiage, it kind of scares your seller clients away. It makes them feel like, oh, well, she feels like my home is overcrowded or it's cluttered. Like, I just don't think people like that verbiage. I like to use words like, we want to come in and neutralize your home. We think that by us staging your home, it'll feel like more of a less is more approach to the buyers that walk through. It'll feel like when things are clean and surfaces are cleared, that your home is staged more like a new, like model home that you'd find in like a new build community. So again, like I would never use that word declutter. And let's see. So anyways, our team decided to facilitate a listing agreement that we now share. It's called the Ready Set Stage Guide. And it just basically takes them step by step from the entryway all the way through the kitchen and bathrooms, and then other like key essential elements that we think that they can use within any of their spaces in the home. Again, Kourtney and I will also offer a 1-hour staging consultation after we have facilitated that listing agreement. Again, that's something we will not do until we know we have the listing agreement signed, but sellers absolutely love this. And I have to say, just about every time that when we're sitting down our listing appointment, we let them know that we offer that staging guide, number 1, and number 2, that 1-hour staging consultation. They get so excited because it's just a service that no one ever offers to their sellers. So anyways, we're happy to share this guide. I know that we've shared it with the Greco group. There's a virtual copy here, but I have one that you can access through Canva. And you can also create it into a flip book, which is really nice that you can just text out to your clients if they're like, hey, I forgot my email and I really wanted to look through your Ready Set Staging Guide. There's a flip book app too that you can like text to them. So that's really all that I have to share. I hope that was insightful. And I guess now we'll just open it up to questions.
Yeah, I'm flipping through your book. So when you go and you like, are you presenting this at the 1-hour staging consultation, or do you take this with you on your listing appointment and like maybe not leave it? How do you take this?
So at our first initial listing appointment, we actually have a seller's guide, which hits on a few key points that we have. But once they've said like, hey, I'm excited, I'm really ready for the staging portion of this listing process, that's typically when we say, okay, great, let's get started on our listing agreement. We facilitate that, make sure that's fully ratified. And then we share that Ready Set Stage Guide with them and let them know, hey, we would love for you to go ahead and proactively review it. That way we're saving ourselves kind of some time and money when we come in to have a look at their home, because they've already gone through how they can make their first impression of the home, how they can like clean surfaces and um, add little pieces here and there to each room, or what they can remove from each room to kind of, like I said, neutralize the space so that it feels like you're walking through a model home.
I think
Yeah.
something like to some of us, it feels natural. Like we're like, oh, we know how to do that. It's just like, oh, that's basic. But what we have found is that a lot of people don't know those basics. And when we hand them this guide, they're like, oh, it opens up a whole new world to them, which to Lauren and I, this is just, that comes natural. Our homes look like this, kind of thing. But to a lot of people, it doesn't come natural and they don't know. And this is something too that Lauren and I just started implementing that is such a simple procedure that is working so well. We take a blue tape, like painter's tape, with us. And we walk through the home. We tell them, ask them if they're okay with us doing this. And we walk through the home and put a tiny piece of blue tape on items we think should be removed. And then when we leave, they put them in storage, they put them in the garage, they do whatever. And we tell them if there's some things in here that you're not comfortable moving, absolutely no problem. But if we can eliminate some of these items, it's really going to clear this space up a lot. And it's instead of just walking room from room and saying this that needs to go here, this needs to do that, we found that that's the best way to do it in the shortest amount of time because they're actually executing that after we leave.
I think that a lot of sellers too don't realize how much of a difference, especially like if you go back and you look at those before and afters, just coming in and throwing down like a white quilt or a white duvet with simple white Euro shams, and a jute rug, and just making everything look symmetrical in a room can make a room feel completely different. Changing out a bright neon Star Wars kids' bathroom shower curtain for a white, just $9.99 at TJ Maxx shower curtain can change the feeling of a space. So it's things like that, and we have that in that guide. And I just feel like if agents aren't doing this now, like you're really doing a disservice to your clients, because at the end of the day, staging has always proven to bring more money to that seller, and get the home sold in a lesser amount of time. Period. It's just proven.
I think too, a $70 light fixture on Amazon, and everybody has one in their pocket that can install those. And there's been times where Lauren and I we just have it done. It's maybe the money's not there in their budget, and it's like, hey, we can spend $150 total, get rid of this crappy builder grade light fixture, and really make this home look custom for a very little amount of money. Like light chandeliers go a long way.
They really do. Yeah. Does anyone have any
I think
questions?
Victoria has her hand is raised. I think maybe.
Yeah, actually, like I was so excited about this chat this morning. So I'm in Charleston and have just recently kind of joined this group of women. And I do this on all of my listings, right? So I'm telling my clients to replace their linens with white linens. I am making sure that all of our surfaces are clear. But I love, love, love the way that you actually break this out and call it a staging guide. Like to me, that is a golden tip. So I'm going to pull that out of my, like the way I have it set up right now. I'm going to actually package it the way that you have done. So I'd love to see yours kind of like to use to tweak mine. I'd love to see that. And then I also love the way that you treat that as a separate step once they have signed your listing agreement, and like you create that like staging appointment. I think also that's where you like, I'm just doing it as part of the process, whereas you're breaking it out. So you're like really defining that value. Then I love the blue tape. So I love those three things. I would love to know, like, there are a couple of times you've said like you have this stuff. So you have the white shower curtains, you have white towels, you have white linens, but then also in your guide, you're recommending that they buy it. How do you decide when you're going to supply it versus when they're going to supply it? And then if you are supplying things, are you charging extra?
So we don't charge extra. And I will
Okay.
say it's probably just off of the basic state of the home. So if I'm walking through and I'm like, this is a beautiful home. They really just need, I want to, like I said, take out that kid Star Wars shower curtain. I want to replace it with the white linen one that I have in staging. So I usually go through and I write down, and or even at that time, if I know that these are things that I already have, I know they'll fit in this space. But if we're coming in and it's a hot mess and they need to change out the awful orange color like curtain panels in the living room, I will say, hey, listen, I have an IKEA link that I'm going to send you, and they'll be here in 3 days. When I come over for the staging consultation, have them, they're $19.99. Let's switch these out. So we really just do it based off of what the home needs at the time. I mean, Kourtney and I literally will just roll through with our little tablets and make notes, and at the end say, hey, we've made these notes. Let's go over them, and then we're also going to text them to you and email them to you when we send you the Ready Set Stage guide. So again, I really feel like it's just based off of like when we're there and how we feel. We still do have a, oh, sorry.
It's I was just saying, I think it's case dependent. What we have available, what is needed, like what how much the home is. Like we just did a $2 million home that had no decor. They didn't have a single picture hanging on the wall. Well, Lauren and I were like, hey, this sounds like a great home goods day. We spent $1,000 on decor in that home, and we have the before and after pictures, which are in our staging guide. It's unbelievable. And so to Lauren and I, we can use that material again. Half of it we put in our own homes. We were like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with it.
Did.
You know what? It sold that house in 20 days.
Yeah.
So kind of like, even if we have to spend $1,000 on a $2 million listing or $200 on a $300,000 listing, to us, that's an investment in our business.
Yeah.
And so on your guide, I noticed you had pictures. So like I recognize some of the products. Are you just saying like to them, you recommend I think shower curtain's easy, like a white shower curtain, or are you actually linking them to the white shower curtain that you like at Target? Like you reference those IKEA Ritva drapes. Like, are you linking them to those, or just saying like white curtain, stock curtain panels? You know what I mean? Or a mix?
I think it's really, like Kourtney said, it's case dependent. Because when you go through and you look at some of these things like the Home Sweet Home rug, there might be something somewhere else that I've seen at TJ Maxx recently, or we have them in inventory, and I might say, hey, I already have one. Like we got it for $10 on Amazon. We're going to bring it over. But most of the time, yeah, absolutely. Like we'll just send them the link and say, here's what you need. Here's the curtain panel dimensions that you need. It's $19.99. I want these. I want the other ones gone. I want these in place. Just to kind of piggyback too off of what Kourtney was saying. I absolutely love that, Brenda, our client that she was just talking about on our $2 million listing, she was so excited about this staging package. And I think it's because she really wanted her home to feel decorated for a long time. And then she just never went and like took moved on it. So when we gave her like a little idea of some of the decor that we were bringing in, she would say things like, do you think you might leave those lamps for me or maybe sell them to me? So things like that. And when we got to the very end of our transaction process, we're closing Monday, but we're almost there. When we got to the part where we were actually removing some of the staging items from the home, we said, hey, Brenda, I just want to let you know, we're going to gift you these as your closing gift, the lamps that she loves so much. And that just meant the absolute world to her.
Oh, I love that.
So
So I also love that you're treating this case dependent. Have you ever had a bad situation where you did leave your sellers these items and they had, and no judgment because I have 4 kids, but they had 4 kids and 3 dogs and your stuff was destroyed? Do you like set that expectation up front, or you do just sort of consider like, this is what you do. If the shower curtain is ruined, you just move on to the next one because you've gotten that listing? Like, kind of how do you?
I've had a cowhide rug Yeah, smell like I have a family who had a bunch of labs. And like I said, I said, let's do this together. Like, you want a few things that you're going to take to the new house. You like all these ideas I've presented. And this was like 2 years ago. The dogs ruined the cowhide rug, but you know what? It was $100 rug that I just was like, well, just had to throw it out. So another thing I think is really important, and I have not shared this with Anna or Allison yet, but I will today, is that once we have facilitated that listing agreement, we also have a staging agreement that we have our client sign. And we actually had an attorney go through and draft this up for us. And it just protects us from a liability standpoint. I do have a separate staging LLC. So it is LLC that we kind of do this under. Anyways, just something to like think about, especially if you're thinking about bringing in IKEA white slipcover couches and chairs and, heavier furniture, something just to have that liability coverage.
I'd love to see that. And then
Go
one
ahead,
more
Vic.
question. I'm sorry. So I tried to Google you guys really quickly, but how are you like promoting that you do this and advertising this so that people know that you offer these services? I didn't see it on your website, but I was like trying to focus here too. So I probably just didn't find it.
Really, we kind of just picked this back up again. I would say a lot of this year, especially since Kourtney and I formed the team back in January, have been streamlining every process slowly. So this is something new that we've just started kind of pushing again. Really, I just think social media, it's gone on Instagram and Facebook so far. I don't know, Kourtney, can you think of like anything else that we're doing to advertise it right now? I don't think we're putting it on our.
It's not on the website. It definitely needs to be on the website. We have some,
That's a good recommendation.
yeah. So like, I think we had some scheduled mailers. That's a Kristen question. I'm not sure if she's on here. That talk about that as well, like just sold with Ready Set Stage or whatever. But like Lauren was saying, this is something that just picked back up again because during COVID, houses were selling in 3 seconds. So you didn't put your staging inventory in these homes because it didn't need it didn't need it.
Yeah.
This is something that we really just started doing again, probably after March of this year. So we need to get better on the advertisement of it. It needs to be on our website. It needs to be something that we speak about. We do reels about that, like stuff like that. So I do think that we have some things on TikTok because I know that our marketing admin came with us to create some content and stuff like that. Which is super easy. You could set up a little camera if it's just you, in a corner somewhere and take some little short clips of, staging the things out. We always wear like a local group t-shirt when we go in for staging day and, wear some leggings and tennis shoes and all that. That's a working day. I think that kind of adds to it as well. I think like what you were talking about, like it adds so much value. It's a whole nother,
area of service.
Part of the listing, like the photos and the marketing, and there's so much that's done behind the scenes that people cannot see. This is an easy one. You're in their house, they see it, they see what you're doing, they see the destaging. It's such a great time to chat and talk with them. We just did a destaging the other day and she introduced us to a friend of hers and that also is interested in the services. So it's one of those things that it's like, I just think it opens the door for networking and like being in their house and being around them because we spend so much time in our own offices working for them that they don't see.
I was going to say too, girls, one thing to think about, and I don't know what expireds look like in your particular market, but just across the board. I think that with like the story brand compliant, which is like a Donald Miller principle branding, like you guys have you're real guides here. Like you have a guide, like you truly are like becoming a guide. And I think one thing that you could probably do, just ideating a little bit, is like using this to specifically target expireds that in your market haven't sold because they weren't where they were supposed to be, being able to come up and show up as those experts that can help them find that success story through this guide would be huge. I did story brand last week for Sphere of Influence class. If you guys want to brainstorm some of that marketing, let me know, because I think there's a huge opportunity on that compliant marketing story brand stuff with what you're doing here. So let me know if I can do that.
Yeah, Anna, I love that idea. So I will just share that. So I'm reading Traction and doing my VTO. And for next year, one of my things was to target expireds. And just Lauren and Kourtney, I'll share my idea with you was, because again, I'm doing this, I just haven't packaged it the way you guys have done so amazingly. But I love the idea of enhanced expireds. And I think that that's like a terminology we could all play with, like enhance and expireds, that alliteration. So just happy to share that with you. That's kind of like something that, some phrasing that I thought that I would do. So
Would
Thank
love,
you. That's
love
great.
it. Both of that. Yeah. Because I think sometimes, and this, the getting it over the finish line, you know, like it's kind of like creating all of the tools and the things in place, but sometimes we don't fully execute it to its best ability. And I think that that's what platforms like this help create that. You know, they get you to enhance it, just like you said, even more.
well, that or they get you to do it, because see, I'm the reverse. I've like tried to figure out how to make it so pretty that sometimes I'm not executing, whereas you guys are like, oh, we just started doing it and we're doing it and then we're tweaking it. I struggle with the opposite. I'm like, I think that this has to be fully baked and fully packaged before I really like put out there that I'm doing it. So that's where I needed to hear from you guys. Like, well, we just sort of did it organically and then we figured it out on the fly. And then like, so I needed to hear the opposite from you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that that's a lot of Lauren and I's business plan is, oh, let's just see what happens.
Talk just quickly, have you guys used virtual staging at a high level? I know it's in your packet. And I was curious what that's looked like.
It's been hit or miss.
Yeah,
Is that
I
what you
feel
literally
like
just
I
said,
feel the
Kourtney?
same way. Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm like, sometimes I
Yeah.
see it and I'm like, it's so good. And then sometimes I see it and I'm like, this looks like, you know, a video game. Like, why is this on my screen right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes we send them back 2 or 3 times and say like, no, this is not what we were looking for. And we're open and honest with the client as well. So like, for example, the house that we had on Palawana, the $1.9 million house that didn't have a single picture hanging on the wall, it had a room that was designed in the home for a baby grand piano. And knowing sweet Brenda, you would understand, like, she designed that room for a baby grand piano, but like never got around to ordering a baby grand piano. So had this like huge open space area. So when obviously Lauren and I are not going out to buy a baby grand piano. So we just said, hey, we are going to try to virtually stage one in the photo. Y'all should have seen this photo. I mean, it was hilarious. So of course, we just sent and say, guys, this ain't working. Let's just leave it blank. But they had a bird's nest in the house. And we virtually staged that. We sent that photo back like 3 times to have them change it, like do some different stuff. And eventually we got somewhere that we were all happy with. But just, I mean, like, I think just being open and honest and giggling about it a little bit and just saying, this ain't working, girlfriend. Like, you know, we need to come up with something else. And not making promises, you know, we're not promising that we can do that. Just like when we went on that staging appointment, I was like, oh, I want us to bring up a bar height table in this room, because all the windows were overlooking the river, but they were high. The windows started like right here. And so that's in my head. Well, at midnight, I woke up and I was like, how are we going to get any furniture up that spiral staircase? Like, that's not happening. So I called him and said, we need to do something different. And that's how we ended up virtually staging that room. So I think just being open to different options and knowing that. And I just told them that. I said, oh, guys, I'm not hauling a bar height table up here. It's, you know, sorry. I spoke too soon.
Yeah. So you're setting the expectation.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever use Box Brownie?
Yes.
That's what we use.
Okay, because I just put one in the chat. We had this guy that was like, I love my cabinets. Like, I don't want to change the cherry cabinet. So we put it in there. We put new countertops on it. We didn't change the cherry cabinets, but we painted the island. And then it just created like the quartz up the back. And it's like, how do you get them to compromise? Because usually I can get people to do most of the stuff. Like I just spent $1,800 on light fixtures for this property that an older gentleman, he's 94, he's been in there a while, he's taking some light fixtures. And I know I told him right now, the things that are moving are the things that are updated or staged. We've got to create the picture, because even if you lower the price, they're still not moving. So even if we're not going to do, 5 to 7,000, we're not going to buy the light fixtures and hard stage your house. I think we have to lower the price, probably 25, 30 grand, and it's probably still not going to move. So he trusted me enough. So now we're doing light fixtures, painting the outside. I think giving him the vision and telling him the stories is what I've only had one time really that I haven't been able to get a seller to do paint, lights, stage the house, or soft stage the house. So I think it's really important. We also have a stager that we have go out to every single listing. It's like $150, and she does a whole report. And if we need light fixtures or paint colors or whatever, she just picks them and puts the links in there. So it's kind of what you do. But if you guys were busy, or there's someone on here that's super busy, yeah, it's amazing. What would you say?
I said, or suck at it.
Or suck at it. But like this guy, I went and picked out all the lights because I had the vision for the property, which sounds like what you guys have. You have that vision. But if you don't have vision, you feel like you can't see that, then hire someone and do kind of like what Lauren and Kourtney are doing, because I can send her videos of the property before she even goes out the first time. She stacks her car with pictures, with lamps, with mirrors. And then it's like 2 birds with 1 stone. She'll help them kind of pull things off the wall and put up the new like individual artwork, which is nice because now I'm not having her go for the 150 for the consult, kind of pairing it all in at one time. And there's probably a lot of like interior designer stagers that would do that, especially in this market where projects might be put on the back burner because of cost and all the things, to get them to do that for you.
Yeah.
I have found that what cost 150 in your market is 350 in our market. So
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we do a lot of volume with her too. Like we're sending her on almost every single listing, and we're doing, constantly a roll of 20 to 30 listings. So it's like she can push the price down,
Absolutely. Yeah. And like I said, we're not afraid to outsource it. And we do have a young lady who's fantastic. Her name's Ryan Scaletti here in town. She's with Staged, and her prices are pretty competitive compared to other staging companies here in town. But we would definitely outsource it. I mean, if it's July and we've got, 10, 15, 20 listings and we're overwhelmed, like I think we definitely would call her. We needed it. So.
or if it's too big a project, for us.
Or if it's too big. Exactly. Yeah.
That's what I think. You just have to be open and have multiple options for things. I feel like I silence everybody.
I'm just bad at facilitating conversation. See, if Ashley was doing this, she'd have 18,000 people asking.
I'd have all the
1,000
I have
questions.
all the questions and
I'm like, sounds good, cool, love it, awesome. And Ashley's like,
no,
I wonder.
yeah, I mean, we're so sick of people taking like cell phone pictures and doing everything like crazy. So I love that you guys have got your own stash of goods. You're going in. But I think the problem is a lot of agents don't have vision like you both do. So it's like hard because that's such a good way to put it, like, hey, do the linens. But I feel like some people can't even see that. Like, hello, why would you let these people list this house like this? So I was just thinking, like, what's an alternative? Like, if you don't have that vision, who could you hire that would be impactful, or someone that could come in? I've even done that. I've gone to like Kirkland's and bought things for houses where people didn't want to do it. But the good thing is, what our stager said is, there's the little piddly things, the pictures and stuff for her are a leader loss. So, or a loss leader. So she just gives them Amazon links. She's like, hey, change this picture out to go with, the pond view behind you, or kind of exactly what you did, because why shouldn't they be able to reuse it? I mean, sometimes we're having sellers hard stage homes for $2,500 and $3,000, but it is selling the house. We're doing all the main things. We're doing, primary bedroom, family room, kitchen, bringing in big pieces of furniture if it needs it. Not everything needs it, but we know that when a home is staged like that, typically they'll sell faster. So how would you say, like, what's your percentage of, the lamps and the curtains and that kind of thing versus hard staging, like heavy, like couches and end tables, that kind of thing?
Well, I would say that 90% of our listings this year were owner occupied. So, I mean, we didn't do a whole lot of hard stages. I personally, for some other agents, I did 3 this year. And then I would say Kourtney and I really just had this Palawana listing. And again, we just started incorporating this, I would say, around like July, August. So that big listing was the only one that we did like a hard stage for.
But even that, we didn't really bring in any furniture.
Yeah, we didn't bring in any furniture, I guess.
Now I have seen where you can take the 2 like 8-foot tables and create beds and like stuff like that. So that's something we definitely want to look into. One of the biggest problems, of course, is going to be storage. And then also, sure, we can hire somebody, but like Lauren and I have really been putting in the grit and like doing it ourselves. We're taking 2 or 3 hours out of our day to go in and do that because we felt like at this point and the process that it's such a good way for us to connect with the sellers. So I think it's, again, case dependent. Are you busy? Do you have the time to do it? Do you need to hire somebody that can come in and set it up and stage it yourself?
I think what I'm hearing is even if you don't have maybe that skill set and you have to hire someone and I love this because this is like my multi-value function concept, like you still use this as an opportunity to grow referral opportunities because you're very present in this process. So let's say you don't have the eye, you're not fully outsourcing it. You're still involved in the process, just using someone else's expertise because the time in the house with the people that are, getting their home ready to sell is valuable to you guys. That's kind of one of the things that I'm hearing, which I love. So don't just cast this process off. If it's something that you can outsource, just still be involved, use it as more face time with your clients to build more rapport, to then probably build more referral and repeat business.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I got out of it too. I like that you were in the house with them and able to have more conversations and meet neighbors or whatever it is. So I really did enjoy that part. I do that a lot with my sellers that maybe are a little older and can't reach things or whatever. I'll have the stager come with me and we'll be there 2-3 hours and like pile everything on a dining table and say, okay, this is what you pack. Because sometimes it is hard to like go through your stuff. And even if it's written down, it's like, oh, I can't move that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So another thing that the local staging company, like if we had to outsource it, offers is she'll do a simple just kitchen, living, dining room stage. And if you want to bring in a shower curtain or some kind of greenery to throw out on the countertop with a hand towel, go for it. But she'll do those pretty inexpensively. And one thing that I always remember reading from like NAR has like a whole staging article, and I can't remember what year it was from, but they said that like the least important rooms really to stage were a guest bedroom and an office space. Like no one really cares to see those staged. They're going to come in and use that room from like a functionality standpoint of like however they want to use it. Might not be an office space, might be a playroom. But kitchen and living room and dining room were the most important spaces to actually stage within the home.
You said something a minute ago about like getting neighbors or something to notice, but I wonder if there isn't a marketing opportunity around that too. Maybe we could brainstorm it because I think we have to be careful around like publicly marketing a listing before, it's in MLS. But I'm just thinking like, could you show up with balloons and a sign that's branded that says like it's staging day and it goes in their front yard? And I don't know. I'm just thinking like, is there another marketing opportunity here for
I
us?
love it. Yeah. I think that's great.
You could even make it more fun. Like you're showing up with donuts and coffee for the sellers, but then also like I said, I think we could put a fun sign in the yard that has our logos and balloons. I don't know. I think we could really make staging day fun that other people would see in the same way you notice like an open house. So I'm going to put that on my list. I mean,
Absolutely. That's super cute. You could even go as far as to put like the little magnets on the car because your car is going to be out front. You're going to be hauling, things in and out where it just says something as simple as it's staging day. I think that's a great idea, Victoria.
Yeah,
I love that.
I think we can really run with that. That's a fun idea. So
I think if you need a workaround, I mean, I always love to find a workaround on marketing. I mean, I think there's always the opportunity, right, that you create, and I don't know, there's probably some incentive to do this tax wise too, basically create a secondary business that you could just have all of your same branding, but it not be the real estate component. And then there's no way you could be on the hook for advertising. I don't know. There might be something there to play with.
That's honestly what I started out with in 2020, because it was a separate LLC. And it was a good way to have like a big write-off, because I bought all that furniture and was paying the LLC a very small amount of money for the staging and design package. So anyways,
I just don't think that there's any violation in a staging company advertising that they're staging a home versus a real estate agent advertising a home for sale through the staging process. So that's probably your workaround if it gets to it. Can't believe I said that on Facebook. Someone's going to record it and send it to the real estate commission, I'm sure.
Y'all, this is Sue. I just thought I'd chime in. I've been on it since the beginning, but I was on some other link, I think. But no, I think this is great, Kourtney. I guess my thing is I don't feel like I have any creative juices. So I love the idea. Maybe what I should do to get started is maybe have an initial meeting with a local stager and find out options. Like, I didn't know they could just do 1 room, 2 rooms, get different price points, so I can have all this in my back pocket as far as, what I could potentially offer and put together in a marketing brochure. Like for somebody that has no design decorating ability, how would you recommend I get started?
I would do exactly what you just said. I would reach
Okay,
out.
okay.
Ryan Scoletti is great with Staged. I'm happy to
Okay.
text you too. I'll
I
text
think
you
you gave me. I think you gave me her information.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would give her. Yeah, I'd give her a call.
We can create this when we get off of here, just a basic package of things that you as an agent can have on hand. The white IKEA curtains, a white TJ Maxx queen and king size comforter, Euro shams, the white towels, things like that. I am talking, you could go to TJ Maxx, you could spend $300 and you could have a basic home package that, hey, these are very simple, easy tools. And Lauren, I don't have anything to write down right now because I'm very ill prepared, but maybe let's work on that this afternoon and we can get it sent out. And I'm talking 10 items.
Yeah, that sounds great, because you make it sound like it's second nature, natural to you, but it's so not to me. Like,
right.
I wouldn't even know the 10 items.
Stu, I was gonna say
That's
you
great.
can hire the local group. They have everything.
I know. I need to better utilize my resources right here. No, thanks.
We're going to Home Goods on Friday, so you just let us know. We'll get your package bought.
I think Sue can barter some YouTube videos on your staging stuff in exchange for getting her. I see it's like the old world. We'll just barter our service.
Yeah, I like bartering. That sounds good.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Awesome. I love you all. Thank you so much. I just put in the chat that there was just so much like collaboration on today, and that filled my Wednesday morning cup. I was a little tired this morning, so it was was the caffeine that I needed, just hearing a lot of rock stars share ideas. This is what we do Wednesday morning, so if you're on and you want to continue to join us, feel free to come back. I think we're potentially talking about not meeting next Wednesday because it is Thanksgiving Wednesday, but we'll make a formal call on that. I do know the week after, Joe Turco, who's one of our business partners up in Boston, who does a ton of luxury. He is so creative with coming up with marketing strategies, ways to elevate your price point very organically through community connections. Like he's got a really, really beautiful brain. He's going to be on the 29th. So definitely make sure you put that onto your calendar. I learned so many nuggets hearing him speak last week in Charlotte. So we're excited to have Joe. We'll keep you posted. We may just do something fun. We may just pop on and say happy Thanksgiving next Wednesday to each other. But Kourtney and Lauren, thank you guys so much for sharing your expertise and for being so willing to share your plan and exactly how you do things. Like that is what makes this so amazing, is people's willingness to just help others get better. So thank you. I feel like I got better this morning. So thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. It's been very helpful.
Amazing.
Love these calls. Thanks.
All right, everyone go sell a bunch of real estate because rates are down. Bye.
Bye.